Hi, my name is Dustin Rose, and I'm the CEO of Cashflow Links. And in this video, I'm going to go over how Cashflow Links got started and why we do what we do. And we're going to cover a couple of things that we do with investors. In 2003, I started investing in real estate. I have owned property in several states, and it was in 2007 that I began investing out of state. In 2011, some friends of mine that were flipping properties with me locally asked what I was doing out of state. I explained to them my philosophy, and they asked me if I was selling any of my properties. And it was then that I realized that there was a market for turnkey properties that were done right. And that's how Cashflow Links got started. Our philosophy is that each property is a separate business, and it needs to be looked at as such. And so it not only needs to make sense from one perspective, but from multiple. So if your goal is to flip a property, it needs to also make sense and make money from either being a rental, being able to refinance the property, being able to sell the property in more than just a retail way. There has to be multiple exit strategies for the property, and that's one of the things that we look at. I've also found that through experience and trial and error, it's important to put new mechanicals in properties that you plan on owning for a long time. In all my properties, I put in new plumbing, electrical, furnaces, roofs, and water heaters that have warranties on them. I've owned property where plumbing is cracked and the house is flooded, and I've lost my cash flow for a couple of years. I've had to replace roofs and furnaces, and those things can really wipe your cash flow out. And I found that in the beginning, when the whole house is opened up and the rehab is being done, it's not very expensive to get these things done, and it really keeps maintenance costs down for years if you do them up front. I believe that each property should have multiple exit strategies. It should either work as a rental, where you can refinance and pull money out, or where you can sell for profit, not only to a retail buyer, but if you need to, also to a cash flow investor who's looking for a property with a renter in it. I have found that multiple exit strategies lowers your risk and increases your profit. A question that I always ask myself, and I encourage investors to ask themselves, is this: what's your worst case scenario, and is it acceptable to you? So for example, if your goal is to flip a property, well, let's say you're not able to flip it and no one wants to buy it. Maybe the market turns. Well, can you keep it as a rental? And would the income from the rental be acceptable to you? If the answer to that is no, then it's probably not a good business strategy to buy that property. Because I have found that in all the properties I buy, there's always a percentage that do not work out the way I initially planned, and I need to go with a different exit strategy or a different income strategy for that property. And it's important to know all of the possible exit strategies and the exact ways that it could work out to where it's your worst case scenario, and you need to know what those are up front. It's very important to know. At Cashflow Links, we offer a couple of things to investors. One is turnkey properties. In our turnkey properties, we buy these. We put all new mechanicals with warranties in the property. We carefully select tenants. What I have found over time is that the wrong tenants can cost you thousands of dollars. And not only do I want to verify if they can afford the property, but I want to verify in the previous places they've lived, have they gotten their deposits back? And was it expensive for their previous landlords to make their properties rent ready again when they moved out? Because eventually you might have a renter that moves out, and what you want to know, is that going to be something that is as simple as painting the walls and doing some things with the carpet, or are you going to be looking at spending $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 to make that place rent ready again? I have found that the history of tenants usually repeats itself, and I want to know those answers up front before I put someone in my house. With our turnkey strategy and our lenders that we use, you can start investing with as little as $10,000 down. Our lenders provide loans as small as $40,000, and for investors with multiple properties on their credit, they can actually get a commercial blanket loan where if you have, let's say, 10 properties on your credit, they would wrap those into one commercial loan. So now it looks like you have one loan on your credit instead of 10, and now you can go buy more properties. We talk about this in detail in our turnkey video. You can either click on the link here or go to our website and watch that. On our turnkey video, we actually go over in detail several properties that we've done with actual numbers and videos from those properties so you can see what our turnkey system looks like. We also have a fix and flip strategy for investors where we provide fix and flip properties. It's really a turnkey operation for people who want it to be. We present deals to investors. We provide them with comps to support the ARV. Now, one thing I've always found is that it's important to know you don't always want to use the ARV that's the highest ARV because that's your best case scenario. But what you want to know is, well, what's realistic? Let's say you're going to sell a property and your ARV is $100,000. Well, if there's one or two properties that sold for $100,000, but 5 that sold for $80,000, my experience is you should use the $80,000 number. If that number is acceptable to you, if you sold the property for that and you would still make enough money, then it makes sense to go through with a purchase. But if you need to hit a home run with the highest ARV, you're putting yourself in a risky situation from my experience. We provide a contractor bid for all our properties, and our contractor team is available to do the rehab if you choose to use them. We provide videos and pictures of the properties in the neighborhoods. We also provide rental comps for investors so they know what the property could rent for if they hold on to it. We believe in multiple exit strategies, as I've said, where you either flip the property or you keep the property as a rental and you can refinance the property. One of my favorite strategies is I buy properties and I actually put a renter in the property, and then while I have the property for sale, I'm making income every single month. It takes longer to sell the property like that because I'm selling to an investor as opposed to a retail buyer, but that's just my strategy that I use. Again, you don't have to use that strategy, but it's the key to having multiple exit strategies. It's not just one that you can use. We have a video here as well that you can click on, and on this video it will go into detail on our fix and flips and not only show some of the properties with numbers, but also videos of rehabs that we do and what they look like before and after and that type of thing. So you can click that video or watch it on our website. We do a lot of property tours with investors where you can come out and meet our team of contractors, property managers, brokers, lenders, and you can see our operation. And when investors come and see our operation, it really helps them understand what we're doing, and they are able to learn the area and the neighborhoods. And we have a link here. If you want, you can sign up for a property tour and you can come out and we'll introduce you to our team and go over everything. You're able to see projects that we've completed, projects that are in the process of being rehabbed, and projects that we just bought as well. So feel free to browse the site and watch some other videos, and please contact us and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video.